Did they strike the right tone? Is this the ad campaign that is going to make you excited or make you scratch your head? Hey, it's Tim. Let's talk cars. First time in my decade plus career, I want to talk about a marketing campaign. And I want to talk about Dodge's muscle car. It's been very controversial. It's the first electrified muscle car in the market. They just launched their campaign for what they're going to advertise it with. And I read it, and initially I was like, what an awful way to sell the product. And then I saw the video and I was like, well, better, but I'm still like missing the boat on this. And I'm just curious, is it just me or do you think the same thing? So here's what's going on. Let me give you the behind the scenes in this. So it's on the media website I use for Slantis. It's a press release. It says, Save the Planet from Soulless EVs. Okay. World's quickest, most powerful muscle car, the all-new Dodge Charger Daytona, lands now with a new marketing campaign. So it's this car right here. I've walked around this car. There's currently a media drive going on where people are driving this car and doing burnouts and stuff. And it's going to be really fast. Electric car, right? Really fast. And they have the Fransonic exhaust, which I showed a video on this channel, link that video above, on how the exhaust works. No. What the noise it makes. I can't even call it exhaust. It's just the noise the car makes from the rear because there's no engine, right? So it is interesting. And so I'm going to play this video for you guys and just giving you like, let's talk this through. Let's talk cars for a minute because I'm just scratching my head.
We aren't building electric vehicles because it's trendy. We're building them to make a difference, to protect our future and our children's future. We're building electric vehicles to save our planet, to save it from all those lame, soulless, weak-looking, self-driving sleep pods everyone else keeps polluting our streets with. That's why we're doing it.
Okay, cool graphics, cool stuff like this. It goes on to say, the Save the Planet speaks to the power of Dodge in a way that only Dodge can. With a twinge and perhaps more of a blast of irony, Dodge stamps its flag on pavement at the launch of the electrified Charger Daytona. Asserting the America's muscle car icon's rightful and long-standing claim as the world's quickest and most powerful muscle car. Okay, here's my issue with it. So first of all, there's a lot of controversy right now, especially you'll see it in the comments of this channel, see it all over YouTube, see it all over the political side about the environmental damage that EVs do. So for me, EVs aren't just about saving the planet. To me, they're just a different alternative powertrain, and they have some pros and cons. Like they heat up faster in the wintertime, and they're quicker to drive, and they are a lot cheaper to use. I think that's where we need to be with this conversation. I think the Save the Planet stuff was, 13, 14 years ago when the Prius came out. I mean, that movement didn't really turn into anything, and hasn't turned anything except a lot of arguments online. So I don't understand why you would start that, because you're talking to a bunch of muscle car guys, gearhead guys. They hate the EPA. They hate the Save the Planet stuff, and they're really concerned about these muscle cars. I mean, so let's just put that aside for a moment. I find that whole thing that's kind of like, that's the thing you don't talk about. That's the elephant in the room for me. Don't talk about the EV planet damage like that. That's the elephant in the room. Put that aside. And that's where it gets all political and that kind of stuff. And then they're like, it's a soulless, all these other soulless EVs. The reason why EVs are soulless is because the engine is the soul of a car. And now you have a car that has no soul. So I'm sorry, but your Dodge Charger Daytona, let me get the verbiage right. Dodge Charger Daytona. It has no soul. It has no rumble. I don't care if the Fransonic exhaust. It just doesn't have any rumble. So your car is soulless. And by the way, your company does make a plug-in hybrid version of the Chrysler Pacifica. So you do make an EV that's soulless. You make a freaking minivan that is soulless and polluting the streets. So you are doing what you're advertising against. What? Self-driving. I'm buying a new Ram truck this year. It has self-driving. Like, why would you even include that in the ad like that? That scratching my head on that one too. So, yeah, is it cool? I mean, I tell you what, I get tons of people walk up to me, and they'll talk to me about cars and things and trucks, and that's just nature of what I do. And we all think, and I think it's 1,000% true for everybody I've ever talked to. This thing looks badass. It looks absolutely badass. And the biggest knock against it is it has no soul. It's an EV. It's a complete turnoff immediately because it has no soul. So you're kind of saying the things that, well, people have been saying against you. You're kind of taking your criticism and kind of flipping it toward your advantage, trying to do this. That just confuses me on this. I mean, there's a lot of conversation right now on different Dodge forums and stuff about how they're trying to fast track the Hurricane engine coming into this because people aren't interested in this EV muscle car. It's kind of a contradiction in terms. So I'm just like, you're adding fuel to the fire of all these criticisms. And I'm sorry, but I don't understand. I don't understand this ad campaign. And again, I don't think in my 12 years of doing this, I've ever criticized an ad campaign. In this case, I have to because soulless. Well, you build a car that's soulless. Sorry, polluting the streets. Have you seen the Fiats? Little small things. That to me is polluting the streets. And those are EVs as well. You make 500E was an EV you sold in California as a compliance car. Self-driving. Your vehicles have level 2 autonomous driving. You do that already. I just don't understand. Like, I think the Dodge. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, I think the Dodge Charger Daytona is pretty badass. I really do. I've been and seen it in person. It looks fantastic. I'm not sure there's an audience for it, but maybe there is. Maybe with a hurricane, people tuning that for the maybe a little more gasoline power in it. Okay, but I just don't understand the advertising campaign. And I asked it to my colleagues in the group, and they kind of concurred with me that some people got it right. I mean, so yeah, I mean, Nissan Leaf and things, and maybe some of the Teslas you can say are soulless and self-driving, and they're kind of boring. Man, I wouldn't argue with that. I completely understand that viewpoint, but to me, you're adding more fuel to the fire for criticism because your car is soulless. A car without an engine, by definition, for me, is soulless. By definition. Understand that your EV is actually a muscle car and you're doing it the Dodge way it can, which is really great performance, squeal the tires, like and stuff. I get that. But you never will convince me that's got a soul. I don't get it. Comment down below. Am I wrong? Am I right? I mean, I'm open to criticism on this one. And I appreciate what Stellantis is doing here. And again, I like the car. I like the idea of the car. I'm worried about the price point. I'm worried about a lot of things with this. But I like the car. I think it looks cool. I just can't believe this is the advertising campaign they're going to put out there. To me, it just reinforces the notion that you shouldn't buy one. For more, check videos over here. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.